If you have it, give it. What am I talking about? Proverbs 3:28 says, do not tell your neighbor to come back tomorrow and you will provide for them what they're asking you for. I'm making this video message to basically tell you whatever is in your hands or whatever is in your power to give to someone, if they ask you for it, give it to them. Now, it's a given. When someone comes to you and they have a need for a particular thing, you should always use wisdom, because we know there are people out here who are mooches. We know there are people out here who have no problem taking advantage of and using people. But I'm talking about those of you, you might be well off. You might have particular resources someone else doesn't have. You may have many connections that can help someone get from point A to point B. And people come to you to get resources. People come to you for certain connections. People come to you for certain things. All I'm telling you in this video message is that God says in his word that if something is in your hands and somebody asks you for it, give it to them. But in all things, have wisdom as well. But if you have, I'm going to just go there, because I know when you start talking about money and finances, people get nervous, they get scared, and it makes people uncomfortable when you start talking about money or someone comes to you and asks you for something financial. But if you are well off or you have the means to give somebody a financial blessing, if your spirit is not telling you that this person is trying to get over on you or play you, and they ask you for a couple $100 or just a few dollars, whatever, I'm not going to put an amount on it. If you honestly have it, and if it will not take away from you, or it won't put a dent in your household or shift something major in your household, give it. Because when you put out, you end up getting it back. You may not get it back in the same way, but in some way, shape, or form, you are going to get back what you put out. Stop being afraid. Stop always asking a bunch of questions in this sense when there is a need, an immediate need of that someone is asking you. But you have to be wise enough and mature enough to understand and decipher what the need is, and if the person really needs it. And you have to look at your own personal situation to make sure you can afford, or you're in a position to give to a particular person. And like I said, it's not always financial. But if someone, for example, comes to you and they say, you know what, I'm hungry, I don't have any more food. If you have food in your house, enough of it, and you can stand to give somebody a couple of items that can get them by for a few days, just give it to them. Give it to them. I find that people sometimes, not all people, but a lot of people, they will ask you a series of questions. Now, I teach you guys to ask people questions. But you guys got to know, it depends on the situation and, like I said, the circumstance. If somebody asks you for something and they're in need, when you bless somebody, this is just my belief, you guys don't have to agree with it, I give the blessing and I move on with my life. What somebody chooses to do with what I bless them with, I don't get involved in that. Because let's just say, just as an example, someone comes to me and asks me for money. If they ask me for money and I give it to them, I'm not going to question them and say, are you about to use that money and buy alcohol? Are you about to use that money and buy drugs? Are you about to use that money and you're about to go buy a lace front wig? Are you about to use that money and pay to get into the club? Are you about to use that money to go buy some takeout food? I'm not going to question them about anything, because guess what? If you come to me and ask me to help you financially and I give you the blessing, what you do with that blessing is on you. It's no longer on me. I did my part. You can go and buy a rock and smoke it. You can go and drink. You can go and buy takeout food and pay for the club or pay and go on vacation. If you do the opposite of what you told me you were going to do with the financial blessing, I'll let God deal with you. It's not my place. It's not my business. And I don't have that type of time on my hand to give you a test and a questionnaire on what you're about to go do with that money. You can mess up your own blessing. But some people, they get upset, they get angry, and they start arguing with someone that has an immediate need. Sometimes in certain situations, you have to be practical. You have to be practical. And you have to give assistance or resource or direct someone who literally needs a particular level of help to the person that you know can help them. Read Proverbs 3:28. That's you guys' homework, because you have to understand, when you are a blessing to someone, you don't know when you're going to get it back. You don't know how. But I don't want you all to focus on getting something back. God loves a cheerful giver. That's also in his word. So don't have an attitude if somebody asks you for something and you're questioning what they're gonna do with it, and you're going through all of this. You all gotta know, and you guys have to have enough wisdom to know that some people are very ashamed and embarrassed to say that they need help. Some people are ashamed and embarrassed to come to you and say that they're really having a hard time. You guys gotta know this. You gotta know this. So it takes a lot for certain people to come to you and say, you know, can you give me a few dollars? Can you make this phone call and ask this person to put a good word in for me to get a job? Can I crash here at your place for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of months? Whatever the situation is, all God is saying, and I'm just telling you all in this video message, if it's in your power and if it's in your hands to give it, give it. Not begrudgingly, not with an attitude, not with you asking a whole bunch of questions, further embarrassing and shaming that particular person. You have to use the wisdom and the discernment to know, okay, is this person trying to play me, or is this person trying to just use me and get over on me, or does this person have an immediate need? I'm not saying you can't ask questions. In many of my videos, I tell you to probe people and ask questions. But you got to decipher on every situation when you use that, when you utilize that. But when somebody's on the other end of the stick or the pendulum, and they're coming to you and they're asking you for something in particular, if it's in your hands for you to lend it, then lend it. You may not like it and you might not accept it, but how do some of you all know that's viewing this video message that you're not in a place where part of your job is you are to be a blessing to others? Some of you all, that is what God created you to be. You are the lender. A lot of you all, you're not going to catch that. But that may just be some of you all's journey in life, outside of other things that God has called you to do. Some of you all, you may not recognize that you are a blessing to many other people. And it's not just financial, but you are the person that people go to because they feel safe and comfortable asking for your help. They know you have the connections. They know you have the resources. They may know certain things about you, and they know that they're not going to get the help from other people, but they know because God is in you, and they know your attitude, and they know that you like to help, that they will not be turned away. That's all I'm saying in this video message. If it's in your power, and if it's not in your power, it's okay. Be upfront and honest with people. Be upfront and honest with people, because what bothers me, I'm going to just tell you guys what I experience often when I'm out here and I'm in public and I do a lot of ripping and running. I'm always here, there, and everywhere, just taking care of a lot of business. And there have been a lot of people that will approach me and say, I am so hungry, can you buy me something to eat? I don't start getting involved in asking them a bunch of questions, because this is just my attitude. You all don't have to agree with it. But how is it going to hurt me buying somebody something to eat? I have literally seen people with a pocket full of money, rich. I'm talking about living in like many mansions and huge townhouses and condos. And they have money. They not wanting or hurting for nothing. And somebody homeless has been sitting outside of a gas station or walked past them and simply asked them, ma'am, sir, can you buy me something to eat? And that person have turned their nose up at the person and said stuff to them like, get a job. You a grown woman, you a grown man, I'm not giving you nothing. But my attitude is always this: when it comes to somebody that's hungry, how is that gonna shift your life? How is it gonna shift your life in a negative sense? Just to simply, if somebody is asking you to go and get them something to eat, it's not gonna shift your life in a negative sense. That's not something major. I understand you get into the point where somebody may ask you for a few $1,000s. Now that's on a higher level, because that's not chump change. But just simply buying somebody something to eat and you're being mean to them, you looking at them like they trash, you're trying to shame them. I have never understood that with people. So if it's in my hand and my power, and if it's in my finances, if somebody can come to me, now I can't save the world, but I'm saying if I see somebody in the streets and they hungry or they thirsty and they ask me to buy them something to eat, baby, I'm gonna buy them something to eat. No questions asked. And that's just me. So I just want to put that video message out because I think somebody needed to hear that. And I want you guys, before this year is out, I don't want you to wait till 2023. I want you guys to check your attitude. Check your view and your perspective on certain things. If it's in your hands and your power to give something and to help somebody, help them, because you do not know where your travels will take you. You know where you've been, but you don't know where you're going. You have no clue where you're going. And the very person you look down on and you feel they're inferior to you, the very person you laugh at, the very person that you shame because they needed something to eat because they were hungry, or they needed a couple of dollars or a place to lay their head so they wouldn't be outdoors, that could be you. Watch yourself. Well, guys, it's time for me to go. The Lord willing, I will be back with another video message. You are my weasels, and I love you guys so much. If you have been offended by anything I've said in this video message today, it's okay, because you will forgive me in the morning.